Welcome to this edition of Collier Focus. On today's show, we'll take a look at the Board of County Commissioners meeting. Commercial impact fee exemptions expanded for local businesses. And the Community Development and Environmental Services Division merges with the Transportation Division. I'm Troy Miller. We'll cover these stories and more next on Collier Focus. Stay tuned.
Whether reporting on the latest news stories or hot issues, taking a look at county government services, or announcing what's happening around the county, this is Collier Focus, bringing government home.
At the recent Board of County Commissioners meeting, the board approved changes in the county's impact fee program for existing commercial redevelopment, which will allow more businesses to receive impact fee exemptions for changes of use in existing commercial buildings. The original program adopted last year provided qualifying businesses an exemption from the payment of impact fees, excluding water and sewer, in commercial buildings that have had a certificate of occupancy for at least 5 years. Impact fee manager Amy Patterson says the BCC has now expanded the program to include buildings that have had a certificate of occupancy for at least 3 years.
The second change is regarding looking at a study to come up with an impact fee. We are calling a middle category for small or specialty medical offices, as the medical use is a pretty high intensity use and one that has a lot of impact fees related. So this was a great recommendation that came from our Development Services Advisory Committee. And the last change is to stop the reviews on zoning certificates and occupational licenses for impact fee reviews. This will be a huge help to the customers. It takes up a lot of their time, and most of the time these are just small businesses coming in with a turnkey operation that don't require building permits or any structural modifications.
The board will get a final report a year from now when the program is designed to sunset. The board approved a recommendation to refinance close to $60 million in outstanding commercial paper loans through the issuance of traditional tax-exempt fixed-rate bonds. Low interest rates help make this a win-win for taxpayers.
What the board approved was a refinancing of $59.8 million in outstanding commercial paper loans. And the purpose of commercial paper was to access money on a short-term basis, and it was always the intent on refinancing into longer-term debt which matches the useful life of the asset. And essentially what they did was allow a refinancing into fixed-rate bonds, given the fact that there are historically low interest rates right now. And by doing that, you essentially satisfy one of the tenets of your debt management policy, which is matching the useful life of the asset with the financing of those improvements.
The refinance will result in a savings of approximately $4 million per year over the next 3 to 4 years. Will fishing piers ever return to the Jolly Bridge? That is the question that the board was addressing as they tried to find funding alternatives for the project. In 2005, the fishing piers at the Jolly Bridge were made structurally unsound by Hurricane Wilma, and so they were closed to the public. As a part of the Economic Recovery Act, construction recently began on a parallel span to the bridge, but there was not enough funding to replace or rebuild the fishing piers. The commissioners are interested in finding an alternative funding source.
Commissioner Collier is very interested in trying to get those fishing piers rebuilt. He knows it's something that a lot of people in the community have enjoyed over many years prior to Hurricane Wilma. And there's obviously, it's something that would be a definite quality of life issue if we could get that funded. So they've asked FDOT to see if they can identify any type of possible alternative funding sources such as grants. They did some research, coordinated with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, provided the MPO staff with a list of 70 different possible grant sources, and we're going to go through a very meticulous process over the next several months of seeing if any of those might actually be feasible.
We'll keep you posted on the search for funding for the fishing piers. On the consent agenda, the board approved 2 important transportation improvement projects. The first is authorizing the acquisition of drainage, access, and maintenance easements for the construction of a replacement bridge on White Boulevard and a new bridge on 23rd Street Southwest, both over the Golden Gate Main Canal.
Bridge on 23rd is a complete new bridge. While we're building White Boulevard Bridge, we would have to have an alternate route for the folks who live on 23rd and that area south of that. And 23rd is the closest alternate for them during maintenance of traffic. So the bridge will be constructed to provide an alternate route during construction of White Bridge. Two, it has always been classified as a need in the county on the long-range transportation plan and has been approved in the general growth management plan for the county for 23rd for emergency purposes, for school, and for the sheriff department.
The second project, a $505,000 contract for Vanderbilt Beach road improvements west of US 41. The plan is to add an additional lane in each direction on Vanderbilt Beach Road from 3/4 of a mile west of Airport Road to Bay Laurel Boulevard.
The Vanderbilt project is actually at the Vanderbilt and Airport Road is an improvement to the intersection. The intersection today, the 3 lanes that we build westbound merge right at Airport Road. In order to improve that merge and establish that 3rd lane as a through lane, we needed to extend Vanderbilt west for approximately half a mile or so, and to improve the operation of the intersection. So this is actually an intersection and safety improvement project that we have designed by in-house staff and to improve that merging condition.
The construction on Vanderbilt Beach Road will begin in a few months and should be complete early next year. In an ongoing effort to cut costs and improve efficiencies, the Board of County Commissioners approved the merger of the Community Development and Environmental Services Division and the Transportation Services Division into the new Growth Management Division. Norman Feeder will head up this new division.
What we're talking about is going down from 5 divisions to 4. This takes 2 divisions into 1. It does reduce the number of departments from 10 down to 7 with the requisite directors. And it basically takes balance with the first efforts over at Community Development. The new Growth Management Division will be 35 positions less than we started out. Now all of that is the cost savings. The other end is we're able to take advantage of some of the expertise and walk it across lines. And while we've got to be very careful about many funds that can only be used in certain areas, that accounting will allow us to basically utilize resources better rather than in silos work across lines.
Now, if you have questions about the changes, call 252-2400.